Sergeant Slaughter, born Robert Remus on August 27, 1948 in Detroit, Michigan, is a retired professional wrestler and a figure whose legacy is intertwined with both the wrestling world and American pop culture. Prior to his wrestling career, he served in the United States Marine Corps Reserve, which greatly influenced his in-ring persona. Remus had a deep love for sports, particularly football, and his athletic prowess would eventually lead him into the world of professional wrestling. In the early stages of his career, he worked for various regional promotions, honing his skills and building a reputation. His wrestling career took a pivotal turn when he adopted the Sergeant Slaughter persona, which was inspired by his military background. This character portrayed him as a tough, no-nonsense drill instructor, often carrying a swagger that resonated with the American patriotism of the era. Sergeant Slaughter's gimmick resonated so strongly with audiences that he quickly gained popularity, especially in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, WWF, which would later become WWE. In the 1980s, Slaughter was one of the biggest stars in the company, known for his patriotic persona and his intense, hard-hitting style in the ring. He became a fan favorite and was involved in high-profile rivalries with some of the industry's most famous wrestlers, including the Iron Sheik, whom he defeated to win the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in 1984. His character's popularity extended far beyond wrestling, and Slaughter even appeared in other forms of media. One of his most significant roles outside of wrestling was as a character in the popular animated television series G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, where he became a beloved figure for a generation of fans. His character was often depicted as a grizzled military leader who stood for justice and the American way, and this role solidified his place in pop culture. In addition to his WWF success, Sergeant Slaughter was part of numerous wrestling promotions throughout the 1980s and 1990s, including a notable run in the American Wrestling Association, AWA. He also had stints in the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, and appeared in other global promotions. Slaughter's career, however, was not without controversy. His storyline during the Gulf War era, where he switched allegiances and became an Iraqi sympathizer, drew significant backlash. This angle was part of an intense feud with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 7 in 1991, where Slaughter played the role of a villain, betraying the United States for the Iraqi regime. Despite the controversy, this storyline was a testament to Slaughter's ability to evoke strong emotional reactions from the audience, whether they loved him or hated him. Sergeant Slaughter's influence within the world of professional wrestling did not stop with his in-ring accomplishments. He was a key figure in the growth of WWE during the 1980s and 1990s, helping to pave the way for future stars and contributing to the company's mainstream success. After his time as an active competitor, he transitioned into roles as a manager, trainer, and ambassador for the WWE, working behind the scenes and further cementing his legacy within the company. Slaughter was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004, a fitting recognition of his contributions to the industry. Outside of wrestling, he remained a popular figure for his work with the G.I. Joe franchise, often appearing at conventions and events. Over the years, Sergeant Slaughter has become one of the most iconic and enduring figures in wrestling history, known not only for his championship victories and feuds, but also for his contribution to pop culture. His persona as a tough, patriotic drill instructor struck a chord with fans, and his ability to evolve and adapt with the changing landscape of professional wrestling made him a lasting icon. While Slaughter officially retired from full-time competition, his legacy endures as both a character and a symbol of American strength, determination, and resilience in the world of sports entertainment. Beyond his wrestling career, Sergeant Slaughter's impact extended into various aspects of pop culture and entertainment, further solidifying his status as a multifaceted figure. His involvement with G.I. Joe was particularly noteworthy. As one of the most recognizable characters in the G.I. Joe franchise, Slaughter became a symbol of military strength and discipline. His character was introduced in the G.I. Joe animated series, appearing as a highly respected drill sergeant and a key member of the G.I. Joe team. His distinctive voice, physicality, and catchphrases made him a favorite among children and adults alike. The G.I. Joe action figures, which included Slaughter's likeness, became some of the most sought-after toys of the 1980s and early 1990s, cementing his place in childhood nostalgia for millions of fans. Slaughter also made several guest appearances in films, television shows, and video games, further extending his reach. His appearances in commercials, including those promoting G.I. Joe and various wrestling-related products, helped him stay relevant in mainstream entertainment long after his active wrestling days. Even into the 2000s and beyond, Slaughter would often appear at major events like Comic-Con, where he continued to meet fans, sign autographs, and reminisce about his time as a cultural icon. His popularity remained consistent with the resurgence of G.I. Joe in various media formats, including comic books and live-action films, where his influence continued to be felt. In the world of professional wrestling, Slaughter's contributions to the WWE, formerly WWF, were recognized in a multitude of ways. He appeared in special guest roles, interacting with fans and taking part in WWE's anniversary shows and other major events. His involvement with the company also extended to behind-the-scenes mentorship of younger talent, offering guidance and advice to wrestlers aspiring to achieve the same level of success he had in his prime. Slaughter's genuine love for the wrestling business was evident in his ongoing involvement, which earned him respect not only as a performer, but as a mentor and ambassador for the sport. Throughout his post-wrestling career, Sergeant Slaughter also stayed active in philanthropic endeavors. He participated in charity events, visiting hospitals, military bases, and community centers to interact with fans and promote positive causes. His association with the U.S. military, stemming from his portrayal as a Marine in his real-life service, led him to support various veterans organizations, where he used his platform to raise awareness for those who served in the armed forces. Slaughter's deep connection to military personnel allowed him to serve as an ambassador for programs designed to support and honor veterans, especially during times of war and conflict. In recognition of his contributions to wrestling, pop culture, and society, Slaughter's legacy has remained strong. He is often cited as one of the most influential wrestlers of the 1980s, with a career that spans several decades. His ability to transition from a respected in-ring competitor to a cherished public figure is a testament to his versatility and enduring appeal. As of today, Slaughter is widely regarded as a true legend of the sport, with his legacy continuing to inspire new generations of wrestling fans, action figure collectors, and G.I. Joe enthusiasts. His work has transcended the squared circle, leaving an indelible mark on the broader entertainment landscape, and ensuring that Sergeant Slaughter remains a figure of immense importance in both wrestling and pop culture history. Even in retirement, Sergeant Slaughter's influence remains undeniable. While no longer an active performer in the ring, his presence in wrestling circles has remained strong, largely due to his continued involvement in special events, WWE's Hall of Fame, and various wrestling-related documentaries and retrospectives. He frequently appears in WWE's Legends programming, offering commentary on past events and reminiscing about his most memorable matches and feuds. Additionally, his interviews and appearances in wrestling documentaries have contributed to preserving the history of the sport, often offering insight into the golden age of wrestling and the key figures who helped shape the industry. Beyond the wrestling ring and the G.I. Joe universe, Slaughter's continued presence in mainstream media speaks to his lasting cultural relevance. He is often invited to appear on podcasts, talk shows, and other forms of media that reflect on the history of professional wrestling and 1980s pop culture. His status as a pop culture icon ensures that his name is still recognized by fans of all ages, from die-hard wrestling enthusiasts to casual viewers who remember him fondly from his days as an action figure or animated character. In addition to his media presence, Slaughter has embraced social media in his later years, using platforms like Twitter and Instagram to connect with fans, share stories from his career, and continue to build on his larger-than-life persona. He frequently posts throwback photos, celebrating milestones in his career and highlighting important moments in wrestling history. This ongoing interaction with fans helps keep his legacy alive and allows new generations of followers to discover the impact he had on both wrestling and pop culture. Slaughter has also embraced the role of a mentor to younger wrestlers, sharing his wealth of knowledge about the business with those who seek guidance. His experience in both the independent circuit and major promotions has made him an invaluable resource for those looking to make it big in the world of professional wrestling. Slaughter's respect for the history and tradition of the sport, coupled with his natural charisma, has made him an enduring figure in the industry. Through all these ventures, Sergeant Slaughter has managed to maintain the principles of his on-screen persona, discipline, toughness, and patriotism, while evolving with the times. He is a living reminder of a bygone era of professional wrestling, but also a figure who remains relevant in the ever-changing landscape of entertainment. Whether as a fierce competitor, a beloved figure in children's television, or a revered legend in the world of sports entertainment, Sergeant Slaughter's impact on the industry is far-reaching and lasting. As the years go on, it's clear that Sergeant Slaughter's contributions to professional wrestling, G.I. Joe, and American pop culture will continue to be celebrated. His legacy is not only marked by his championship victories and entertaining feuds, but by the way he transcended the boundaries of wrestling to become an iconic figure in the wider cultural landscape. To this day, he is fondly remembered by fans across the globe, and his place in history as one of the greatest wrestlers and pop culture figures of all time is secure.